Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime. A star brighter than the sun. Synopsis from Annihilist. Taiyou is slightly tougher than average girl, falls for the gentle smile of Koki Kamishiro, a delicate boy back in elementary school. By the time they enter junior high school, Koki has grown into a charming and popular teen who now feels out of reach. When they are assigned to the sports festival committee together, Sai's long-hidden first love begins to stir once more. So we have a romance. Our main character, Taiyou, on the right. And she is above average height tall girl. She seems pretty tall, like close to a head taller than the rest of the girls. And since elementary school, she likes Koki Kamishiro, the guy on the left. Now, in elementary school, he was a lot smaller. They had like a friendship. She was helping him out. They had a nice little friendship going. And seemingly, she liked him a lot. Now, with the setup, we go then into the middle school. We have this whole interaction. While they were always together in elementary school, same class, always doing stuff together, they seem to have grown apart in middle school. Not in the same class anymore. They don't talk to each other on first name basis, but the last name, stuff like that. However, the setup ends with them joining high school and being back together in one class. Now, it is a romance. We are mostly following Sai Iwata and her inner dialogue. She liked Koki for a long time. However, he's now grown up. He's tall. He's good looking. He's funny. People like him. He appears cool. She finds herself inadequate to, approach him in the sense of, maybe being a couple. It doesn't help that there are people that, reduced her confidence because, they would put some quips out like, oh, you are so tall, you feel like a guy instead of a girl. Stuff like that. Which is very sad. Because I do feel like there could be something going on with him. However, there are also some... In the first 3 episodes, there are some little hints that maybe he is not interested in her in that way. Maybe he is. We will have to see. However, with it being a romance, it does not seem, in the first 3 episodes again, to have this little third wheel. It's just those two. She naturally has to work out her feelings. We will see if she is going to be aggressive or not. But there's not really, at least not openly at this point, a third character that is gunning for our main boy. Or a third guy that is gunning for our main girl. It just seems like we are waiting for our girl to finally get the courage to at least try to approach him. Because this is a problem when you get older. You see specific parts in a different light. Now I can understand she doesn't have the confidence to approach him, to be honest, and, put her heart on the line. However, the alternative is not that much better, being on this, I like him, but, I need to get rid of these feelings because I'm not good enough, and he probably likes someone else, and not being able to really separate from him because of being in the same class, doing stuff together. It seems to be a very hurtful existence. It would probably be better to bites the bullet, be like, hey, this is how my feelings are, get potentially shot down, but then you can start anew. Again, that is a view when you grow older a little bit. Totally understandable that she does not have that viewpoint right now. Overall, I enjoyed the first 3 episodes. I like the characters. We have our main girl. She has 2 friends that is, have their own personalities, seem interesting. We have our main guy. Toki, he seems very good. I like his character, especially all the little hints we get that are not necessarily spelled out, but we can see what is happening here. Like that. He also has 2 friends. One of them is a total asshole. Let's see if we can find here. Yushin Izawa. He probably one of the worst characters in the show. Not because he means bad stuff. However, it is, especially whenever you are younger, it is very hard to understand how other people would feel whenever you say something about them. And he is clearly not mature enough to understand that. And again, high school, totally understandable. Still, we see everything out of the viewpoint of our main girl, and I just want her to be happy. That is all I want in romances. People just be happy. So that is why I do like that there's no third party, at least at this point. No stupid drama. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. The animation is fine. There's nothing big going on. This is not a shonen, no battles being fought. It is very colorful. The characters are always shown in a very bright, quote-unquote light. Whenever they are on the screen, they shine. Because of the name, I'm assuming. So it's nice. I really enjoyed my time. I did want to show one little scene. Now, again, there's not much animation. However, I found this interesting. The audio doesn't really matter. This is all I wanted to show. I found this part really interesting, that they had this 3D wall and the character going through. Meanwhile, we pan around the wall. This is an interesting idea. I do feel like the animation, the studio is unable to make it perfect, but it looked very good. Again, not perfect. You can always see with 3D environments and 2D objects, there's always a disconnect. Still, I like the idea. This is where 3D can shine, doing stuff like this. Just wanted to, have a little yap about that. Now, AnyList has it at 68% mean score. We need 1 more percent. My anime list has it at 7.12. I would say first 3 episodes, first impression, I liked it quite a bit. I would give it an 8 out of 10. It seemed solid, a solid start. I like that we don't have this drama, we don't have a third party, we can just go and enjoy this development of our main character and potentially maybe some romance growing later on.